You get stale.
Popcorn?
Popcorn.
Popcorn.
You forget about things like stale.
Popcorn.
Popcorn, stale popcorn.
Popcorn.
Pop.
This is the
Stale popcorn.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Stale Popcorn Podcast. I'm your host, Steven, and with me as always is Christopher, my co-host. How you doing, buddy?
Just call me a co-host?
Yeah, sorry about that. My mistake.
That was only in college. I've changed since.
I can change. You can change. We all can change.
Nice to see you, buddy. How's my horror co-host doing over there?
I'm doing well. I'm doing good. Good stuff. Well, Chris, we have quite the treat for our listeners here. We have, if you haven't guessed by the title, we are doing a special episode solely dedicated to our good friend, pal of the show, M. Night Shyamalan. He has a film coming up, Trap. Or is it Trapped or just Trap?
I think it's just T-R-A-P. Have you not seen the trailer 1,000 times?
I have. Well, okay. You could have been nicer.
Well, I'm sorry.
Come on now. Give me a break.
I'm just so amped, so jazzed.
Me? I'm jazzed as well for this episode because we got 3 sections we're going to be doing for you guys. We're going to be ranking every M. Night Shyamalan movie. We're going to be ranking every M. Night Shyamalan twist. And then we're going to be taking a little break and doing Guess the M. Night Shyamalan movie based on the Unhinged reviews. You betcha, pal. We're bringing them back. We got it for you guys and we're ready to dive in. But first of all, Chris, I want to know just quickly your opinion on the man, the myth, M. Night Shyamalan as a director. Yes or no?
Yes.
Good boy.
Is that it? All right. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, no. I want you to say something nice about him because there's a lot of discourse going around that he's a hack. You know, he's not a good director. I think we're in agreement that I think he is a good director.
Yes.
He definitely has some misses.
Yes.
What I like about him is I like him because he takes risks, you know.
Yes.
We're looking at his filmography here. All of them, they swung big with their concepts. Some of them he struck out, not going to lie, but he's trying different things. And that's what I like about him. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yes. Yeah, I think similar. Some good, some bad. And in fact, I'd say there's tiers to his films.
Oh, very good segue, Christopher.
Yes.
Well, with that being said, you want to just dive in?
Yeah, so we got this. If you're listening audio only, I'd suggest heading over to the YouTube so you can visually see, but we're simply just ranking the films. And let's start off with his first film, Praying with Anger. You seen this, Steve?
Unfortunately, I have not, and I did not know it existed before we researched this show, so I'm going to have to put that in the haven't seen it section. Chris, how about you?
Well, Praying with Anger is what I'm doing right now after you said that, Steve, because how could you not? But no, I haven't seen it either. I mean, how about this hit film, Wide Awake?
To my dismay again, Christopher, I didn't know it existed.
Yeah, me neither. Let's
yeah. If you guys have seen these ones, let us know in the comments. Yeah. Moving on, I guess.
Sixth Sense. I'm sure we all seen this.
Mm-hmm. The one that really put him on the map, started it all, baby.
Yes.
In my opinion, S tier. Put that bad boy up there.
I'm with you there. I'd say were you spoiled before the first time you saw the twist? I was, yes. Oh, yeah. Rough. But I wasn't. Yeah. I was shocked and awed. We'll talk
definitely
more about the twist, but
for sure.
That one I'd say is probably his scariest movie. Spookiest, would you say?
Yeah, I can remember some moments seeing it as a preteen. I was being real scared about it, so I guess it depends where you're at, but it is the scariest one.
Because I remember as a kid thinking all of his movies were like super scary because they were basically like the only horror-ish movies my mom would let me watch. So I'm like, this man, he is a god. These are the scariest movies, and this one I'd say is probably the spookiest of them all. Yeah,
no, I agree with that. It's got a real creepy atmosphere about it.
Good acting, creepy little kid.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this next movie, Unbreakable, Story about this. I had seen Sixth Sense. I had seen Signs, I believe. And I remember we rented this movie, but like my mom wouldn't let me watch them. And I thought it was a scary movie because I'm like, all right, M. Night. So I went and I snuck. You remember those old portable DVD players where it's like a 8-inch
You
screen?
take on road trips.
Yeah, and you could put in the DVD. I remember sneaking that DVD, that Blockbuster DVD, and I took one of those portable and I watched it in my closet and I locked the door because I'd get in trouble if I got caught. And I thought I was about to get scared out my life. And as like a 10-year-old, this was like the most boring movie I had ever seen.
Well, I guess not only as a 10-year-old, a lot of people think this movie is boring, but...
And so I hadn't seen it again, but right before Glass came out, I was like, I should probably watch this again. And I remember thinking it was pretty good, actually, watching it as an adult.
Yeah.
So I'd say that one's pretty good. What are you thinking, Steve?
It is a bit of a slower burn, but definitely up there in some of his best work. So I don't know. It's between an A. I would put it at an A.
Yeah, we'll throw it A here. We can rearrange later. But
Sure.
Now, Signs. This is a movie I watched not even a few weeks ago.
Ooh.
And this was a movie, again, as a kid, I thought was super scary. And rewatching it, I'm like, it's not a horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, I still enjoy it. I think it holds up. And it's probably, it's one of, if not my favorite, I think it's just as good, if not better than Sixth Sense, if you ask me.
Yeah, so put that bad boy right up there on S, because I agree with you. Whether it's better than Sixth... Ooh, you know what? I'd put it above Sixth Sense.
I would too.
I'm saying it's best one.
That's
I'll tell you why. It's just so good, man. It's unadulterated M. Night, clunky, weird, stiff dialogue and all. But it's got some really fun themes that he plays with. And I think it's fantastic. One of my favorite scenes in the whole movie. I was actually talking about this with my brother the other day, Mark. Shout out to Mark.
She's pinned in a way.
Oh man, that was Sam's favorite quote. He would say that all the time. But no, my brother and I were talking, one of our favorite scenes in Signs, it's just Mel Gibson and Joaquin Phoenix talking on a couch for 6 minutes. And it's super engaging. And I'm like, if your movie can get you engaged about two dudes just talking about God on a couch, you did it, man. Because it's such good acting from Mel, but pre-racist rant Mel in his heyday.
I'm insane with anger.
Yeah. No, it's just got good moments, good themes, and it's well executed, beautifully shot. Yeah.
It's probably the funniest M. Night film. Like it's legit a funny movie. And I think this, like a lot of his, it's got great like music, but I think this might be my favorite. Just like the what do you call it? Score. It's got a nice score and a lot of great like cinematography, where there's those shots like panning out and you see the crop circles and the overall, it's a great rewatch. You can watch this plenty of times. It's my fave, I think, unless something changes on the list here.
Yeah.
How about this next one, The Village?
The Village. I watched this maybe about a month ago with my in-laws. I don't think they liked it very much. They were kind of just like, okay, indifferent about it. I actually quite like this one. I think it's a category. I don't know if I'd put an S though. We'll put it. In my opinion, it's in the A because it's one of his best works. But there are things about it that, after you think about it, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
We'll get into it later. But
let me tell you, my first time seeing this movie was also on one of those DVD, like portable. And I remember we were driving like on a road trip or something, and we stopped by Costco and they had this DVD and we bought it and to watch it on the trip. And I remember we were like driving through the night. I was probably like 11 or something, where normally my parents wouldn't let me watch it, especially if they hadn't seen it either. And we're watching, it was night, and everyone that was watching the movie like fell asleep, and they thought I was already asleep. And so I was basically just like watching this movie by myself, alone in this van with everyone else asleep. And I just remember just like being terrified, but also, I think I said it on the pod, just like having no idea what the heck was going on. Like I didn't understand she was blind. Like I think I just like missed that part. And definitely did not.
You thought she just loved canes.
Yeah, I thought she was just like mentally challenged or something. Like when she's like run into the wall at the end, she's without her cane. She's like,
it took you till then to realize. No,
I still didn't know. I thought she was, hey, you guys, something like.
Yeah.
And I definitely did not understand that, like, oh, this is fake. I was so confused when the Noah's like dead in the ditch or whatever. I'm like, what? How's this? But saying all that, I remember I didn't hate it or love it as a kid, but I rewatched this last week, and it's good. I like it a lot.
It's a good one.
I'm with you there. I'd say it's an A. I think it's better than Unbreakable, and I know a lot of people don't like this one, but it's got great, similar to Signs. Like again, great score, great cinematography, and it's some scenes, man. I didn't really think of it as a romance, but now when I watched it again, I'm like, this is such a romantic movie. The scene where she's holding her hand out, waiting for Joaquin, and it's got that music, and you see that red monster creeping in, and some of these.
That one, it's got some great memorable moments. That one, and then another one that comes to mind, I remember distinctly when Lucius and What's-Her-Bucket get engaged, and then Noah comes the next day, and Joaquin turns around, and you see his face, and then you see the knife being pulled out.
Oh, yeah.
That stuck with me as a kid, seeing that, and I was like, oh, brother, just, it was so, like, visceral, and you just felt it, and that was, something that'll stick with me always, and it's just a great movie overall, really.
And that romantic scene with Joaquin talking to Bryce, and he's like, I fear for your death and blah, 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 and I will dance with you on our wedding night or something. I was like, oh, this is such a romance. Up every time.
It's a good movie. Dang, girl, yeah.
Yeah, I'm putting
that bad boy.
I think that's our number 3 right now for those that are just listening.
And the reason it's not higher is we will get into it, believe you me. But the next one we're talking Lady in the Water.
Oh, actually, can I say one more thing with The Village?
Yeah.
It's I didn't notice it as much, but you know how M. Night really likes to throw himself in all of his movies?
Indeed, yes.
In this one, his thing is he's at the end, he's like a park ranger or whatever. We'll go more into the twist or whatever, but it's like you can very clearly see it's him, and he's like reading the paper, and like you can see, like you don't see his front of his face, but you're like, all right, obviously that's him.
In the reflection,
he's talking, and then they do a scene where the ranger is getting the medicine, and they like pull the reflection and just like hold it there, like this is me. And I feel like this is starting to be the downfall of M. Night. I think he's getting a little ahead of his britches, and it all starts with these end scenes because he's just like, all right, we get it. You're in the movie. We don't need a whole shot just showing you to be like, hey, that's me, You
know why he does that, though? 2 reasons. Because Alfred Hitchcock does that, and so us movie nerds can lean over to our girlfriends and be like, "Hey, that's actually the director of the film we're watching." Yeah, that's him.
I know he did, but he didn't we knew it was. We could have said it before. Like there's this 20 seconds of him talking before. Like, hey, that's clearly him. But it's just that shot, and then Lady in the Water. Now, this movie, I remember being disappointed to say the. I wasn't. It's not his worst film by any means, and I remember thinking it was just like kind of boring watching it as a kid, and I thought maybe because I kind of thought the same of The Village. Like I remember thinking a little higher of it, and I rewatched The Village. I was like, that's actually really good. So I was hoping the same with Lady in the Water, and I rewatched that this week as well. And to me, it did not. It did not get any better. I did not. And now. This one, he really is real. How do I say this politely? Really,
his hubris is off the charts in this one.
The plot is his cameo is he's an author that writes the most important novel in history.
Yeah, and you're like, all right, and then come on now.
His neighbor is like a film critic, and he's like kills him off. Like, what does he know? You know. I feel like this is where he starts to get off.
Roger. That's Roger Ebert.
Yeah,
that's who that represents.
What was? I think I read his review for The Village. Do you remember that Roger Ebert one? It was like the twist. I don't remember. It was pretty fun. Go back to our old Unhinged episode, but I remember him having some funny ones. But what are your thoughts on the film, Steve?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think it definitely overstays its welcome, even though it's a short movie, but it's just not very good, not very memorable. There's a lot of very clunky something M. Night does better than most is write really weird, awkward characters.
Oh yeah,
and it's very evidently it's very evident in this one because you're like, can I talk to the adult who's in charge? Because everyone's so freaking weird in this one too. So I'm gonna have to put that probably a C or a D.
I'll say we'll put it C. We can adjust because he's definitely had worse. But
yes.
Now this is a movie I saw for the first time this week as well. The Happening. Have you seen this film?
I saw it when it first came out, and I'll just say it. Controversial opinion, I guess. This is his worst movie.
Oh,
bar none, and I'll tell you why. Because it has zero redeeming factors. Not a single thing is good in this one. I got nothing but negatives about it. So,
well, I will say there's one that lion scene or whatever with the guy in the zoo. Do you remember that?
They're watching on the phone. Yeah,
that was pretty, entertaining. I'd say
it was weird. Like, I guess people killing themselves in a funny fashion. You're like, is this supposed to be funny, M. Night? It was just like, definitely now, lost this movie.
Supposedly, because this came out 2008, and I heard there was like a writer's strike around that time. So, according to M. Night, they basically had to push his up so they had a movie coming out. So, what wasn't just like a late period. So, basically, he was the sacrificial lamb. Like, all right, well, I know you're not ready for it. Here you are. That's what he claims. But
all right.
I remember watching this. I remember it was only like 3 days ago, but it felt like years ago by now. But it starts off, I'm like, this isn't terrible. Like, I had always heard this was his worst movie, and I'm like, this isn't terrible. Like, I've seen worse. But then it never picks up.
It never crawls out of that hole.
Yeah. But
ever.
I will say I don't think this is his worst. I think there's one worse, but
all right. So I guess we'll put it as F for now because we're in the fortunate position that the next three I think we're going to talk, or the next two.
Well,
we're going to talk about
in this movie. Mark Wahlberg, I think, like him and Zooey Deschanel, especially Zooey Deschanel, you could tell like none of them wanted to be in that movie. It's like the worst acting I've seen
from either of them.
But now this one, Last Airbender.
This one is, I think everyone would be like, oh, this is definitely the worst one he's ever done. And for good reason, because it does really just poop and pee all over the source material. And it's not a fun watch by any means, but I'll tell you why it's slightly better than The Happening, in my opinion. Just because some of the effects, like the visual effects, they're not that bad. And I feel for those visual effects artists. They put something on screen where you're like, hey, that doesn't look half bad at all. So visually, it's there. I feel like they did the best with what they had. Again, I'll say The Happening doesn't have a single redeeming quality about it. This one, at least some of the visuals are nice. But I can understand why people are like, this one is poopy, because it's just not a fun time. Doesn't do, like, they pronounced the main character's name wrong. And I could see why that would upset some people.
Yeah, I saw that. I had never seen the cartoon Avatar or anything. And when I saw this movie back in 2010 or whatever, and I remember thinking, I was like, it's not a bad movie, but everyone that had seen the cartoon, like, it's like The Mummy 3, it's Indiana Jones 4 and 5. It's just like, what do you mean? They never made a movie. Now stop talking, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of like one of those. And it's been years, so I don't remember exactly, but
it's definitely in the F territory.
Yeah.
For sure, Z's. Put that bad boy there.
If you're that adamant that The Happening is worse, I'll do this for a compromise. But
all right.
Remember the kindness I've done for you.
All right. Next one, After Earth, or as Will Smith would say, welcome to After Earth.
Welcome to...
Yeah, this one's terrible.
I never seen this, and I wasn't about to. No offense.
Listen, we've talked a few times about nepotism in Hollywood, and this instance right here is what people point to as the most egregious form of nepotism, because, you know, we let it slide with The Pursuit of Happiness because Jaden was a cute kid, but that has to stop right there and put my foot down. Jaden, bless his soul, I'm sure he's a good kid, but it was distracting of just how poor of an actor he was. Maybe, you could argue that M. Night's characters, because they're so weird, you know, he does a good job because that's how his character was written. But I maintain it's just not enjoyable to watch either way, because it's really hard to root for the main character to survive and not get eaten by a giant eagle. So there's that.
Oh. Well, where are you putting this, Steve? Because I got no skin in the game here.
It's definitely in the F category. Don't get me wrong.
Is it better than The
just put that right there.
Right in the middle. So sandwich between Airbender and The Happening.
And The Happening, yeah. That feels right for now, unless something changes, sure.
All right, The Visit.
The Visit. Now, I remember not hating this one. I remember hating the little boy.
Yes,
the annoying little boy.
Same.
But I thought this one was pretty cool. It was right in the peak of like that found footage era. Yeah. So M. Night dipped his toes into that, which I'm not a huge fan of. I hate
those.
That kind of filmmaking. Did you like this movie at all?
I like this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably put it in a B. Like, I wouldn't say it's on the same level as The Village or Unbreakable, but it's definitely one of his better movies.
Sure, I'd put that a B. It's watchable. We'll say that.
Yeah,
like you can kind of like
you could watch it. It's not bad. It's entertaining, but yeah, I remember hating the boy, and I can't think of a found footage that I actually like. I'm not a huge fan of the format.
Yeah, no, I don't like him either.
I'll put that right in the B here.
Mhm.
So this is M. Night. He's gone through the ringer. Now he's kind of getting back up here. And then we got Split.
This was the one everyone said, he's back, baby.
Yes.
Move over, Arnold, because M. Night is back, let me tell you. And I agree with him. This one, it felt like classic M. Night. I actually, when I first saw this in a theater, I was like, that was a good watch. So I'd put that either A or B, definitely.
I'd put it A. I think,
okay.
If you ask me, I think this one is better than Unbreakable. I think it's like easier to watch, more entertaining.
Correct.
You agree with me there?
I agree with you. Yeah.
Okay.
There's more fun moments in there. When I think of Unbreakable, I just think of a blue sepia tone like filter on Bruce Willis's sad face.
Yep.
When I think of Split, I think of like James McAvoy having a blast. So it's a much more fun watch than that one. So that feels right. And right there.
Who is M. Night in Split? Is M. Night, does he show up in After Earth and Airbender? I can't remember.
Ooh. I don't know.
I don't remember what he does in The Visit. I think he's like a zookeeper or something in Split, maybe.
Yeah, it's a zookeeper in Split. I don't remember the other ones, though.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have ranked M. Night's cameos, his appearances on most most propped up. Anyway.
Yeah. But Split's good. I'd say, obviously, McAvoy does a great job. Entertaining. And this one, I remember watching Split thinking it was real good. You got your twist and you find out it's in the same universe as Unbreakable. And I was so excited for Glass because I had rewatched them both. And that was one of the most anticipated films for me. I was like, this is going to be amazing. Yeah. And I remember sitting in theaters, getting my popcorn ready, even though I didn't bring popcorn. I'm too cheap. Taking my Dollar Tree, Kit Kats or whatever. But I was very disappointed. Like, I can't remember a time where I had higher expectations, just not even close met.
Yeah.
I wasn't into it.
Yeah, this one tripped hard. Like, the first, 15, 20 minutes are actually, pretty good. Like, I was down, I was digging it. And then once they get into that dang hospital, you're like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
It's boring, it's stupid, everyone's a moron. And it just it's bad, man. It's not F level bad, but I would put it snugly in the D tier. Yeah. Just because you had build up, right? Mm-hmm. And it just fell flat. That's why it was very disappointing, like you said.
It was disappointed, but maybe it's because I recently watched Lady in the Water, but I think it's still better than that, if you ask me.
Yeah, we can. Well, would you put it at C tier or B then?
I'd put it C above Lady in the Water. Unless,
you know what? That's fair because it does have Samuel L. Jackson and James in there.
Yeah,
and there's some fun scenes with James McAvoy.
You said, the beginning, like you said, starts off fun. You got them fighting, and they do fight again. So 30 minutes of the movie are pretty good, which is more than I could say about Lady in the Water. And
then it gets really silly really quick.
Oh yeah, and twist doesn't really work for me. All right, next we got Old.
This is, I feel like, on par with The Visit, because it had a really interesting premise, and I think it's an like I said, Shyamalan, he swings for the fences. This one hits on a few, but I feel like it gets bogged down with over exposition because when you're watching it, you're like, well, wait, how come? Okay, well, I guess. Oh, well, how come? You ask yourselves in the middle of the movie, and it takes you out of it just a little bit. And so it's still a fun watch, but it's not I'd put it a B tier under The Visit.
All right, that's about what I'd agree with you there.
Yeah.
Knock at the Cabin.
His most recent one, it's honestly kind of forgettable. Dave Bautista's really fun in it, and he gets to spring off his acting chops, but it's not. It's just kind of like there, you know.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
So I would probably put it as a B, right after Old.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. It's one, I'll be honest, I don't even remember if I finished, but it's good enough for me. You know, I remember looking kind of interesting from the trailers, but then just watching, I'm like, this isn't, wasn't really super into the plot or anything, but it wasn't as bad as others.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, would you want to do a prediction of where Trap is going to fall in here?
Ooh. All right. I'm going to guess
track
B.
record, probably B, yeah. Hopefully he comes back. I mean, he's not a bad director, but hopefully he can make a good movie again. I didn't say it like that, but
yeah,
I'd say
it
B,
looks
hopefully.
pretty entertaining. I'm sure it's going to be like, it also looks pretty silly, and you can hear his dialogue is pretty, you know, it's
clunky and awkward.
M. Night. I heard that after Earth, like the visit on, he had to basically fund his own movies, and then he could get more creative control.
Creatively.
And
yeah, good on him for that. That he gets to make the movies that he wants, so that's good on him. And doesn't always work though.
Yeah. At least you can say what you will. He's one that he swings. He's not afraid to take risks, and that's something I respect.
Yeah. Well, let us know in the comments what you guys think. Put your rankings below if you agreed with us, if you didn't, and yeah.
M. Night's known for his twists, so basically we got it set up on some of his don't really have a twist, not really worth ranking, but we've made a list here that we're just going to adjust as we go on. Now, if we start with Signs.
Well, Chris, before we get into it, I want to judge it based on a couple of merits here.
Sure.
Just two things. Whether or not the twist, did we see it coming? And does it hold up to scrutiny if you talk about it for more than like a minute? So I think those are pretty fair merits to see if it's a good twist or not, right? Right?
Yeah.
So with that being said, let's go through them. First one, Signs.
So the twist is that the aliens are allergic to water and that God's real, or what's
is that it? That's the twist. I think so. I didn't see it coming. I don't think anyone saw it coming.
So M. Night himself tells you,
did.
I don't think they like water very much.
Ah, yes. He very in your face about it, if you will. But it doesn't hold up to more than a minute of scrutiny, to be honest with you. Because everyone's like, why would these super advanced aliens come to a planet
full of water,
75% water? You got to be kidding me. And also, people are like, there's water in the air. What if you went to Mexico? You know how humid it is down there, blah, blah, blah. So, I would put this like a B or C tier in terms of twist ability.
Yeah, definitely not the best. I mean, it is kind of fun where, Reverend wife dies, hates God, and then does all these things. Oh, son's got asthma. The daughter hates water.
Loves water.
Can't
puts
drink
water
her
all
water.
over the place.
Merle plays baseball and has a bat so that he can break the glasses. Why not just throw a glass of water? I feel like that would be more effective, but it's not the best. Now this one, I think this is clearly the best, if you ask me.
For sure, yeah.
Like,
and that one is The Sixth Sense, his best one, yes.
This is known for twists. Like, everyone knows the twist, The Sixth Sense, even if you haven't seen the film.
Yeah, I think for the time it did a really good job of this. That's his cream. Yep, not of the crop, just in general.
That's his cream.
No, I think for the time, like it does a good job of not bashing you over the head with explaining things. And as someone who had it spoiled for me, I can't say that, I didn't see it coming. But did you see it coming?
I did not, but I was also like 7 years old. Well,
that's the target audience.
Yeah.
So good job. Yeah. Didn't see it coming. Great twist. Probably one of the most, or not infamous, just one of the most famous twists of movie history.
Mm-hmm.
That's what everyone comes to. So good job. And I feel like it does hold up to scrutiny just because people will be like, oh, it's so obvious. Why is this old man only talking to this little boy for a year? Blah, 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 But it's like, he's a ghost. He comes and goes and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know. You're either on board or you're not. And I feel like it holds up to scrutiny much better than others. So I'll say that.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Next film, Unbreakable.
Unbreakable. The twist is that Glass was evil? Is that the twist? And he was behind everything?
That he's the villain.
Now, Chris, who would have thought that the man in the wheelchair who is super genius and hates the world would be the villain? I didn't see that coming.
I
I'm
didn't
obviously
either.
lying here.
Oh. Yeah.
I mean, throughout the whole movie, he's talking that like there has to be opposition in all things and balances, and I'm like, okay, well, you got strong man over here, Bruce Willis, and what's on the other side? It's got to be something. So it's like, I don't know. Did you see the twist coming?
Again, I think I was like 10 when I watched this, so I probably didn't even know. I had no idea what was going on regardless. But yeah, it's not, it's pretty easy to see, I'd say. It's not an amazing twist, but I'd probably put it on the same level as like Signs, if you ask me.
Sure, it's middle, because it's also not a huge twist. It's not like, it's just kind of part of the story.
He's the reason that the train crashes, right?
Correct.
And Split, his parents died on that train or something, I believe.
Yes.
Okay.
So I guess moving on to Split, this twist, and I feel like this one, it's not really a twist. It's like a Easter egg, a glorified Easter egg is what I'd call it.
Well, I definitely did not see it come. Like, I wasn't thinking like, oh, Bruce Willis is gonna be. So, I mean, it shocked me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone saw it coming. I heard audible gasps in my theater for the 4 people who were like, "That's Bruce! It's Bruce!
It's Die Hard!
It's David Dunn! Die Hard, yeah." No, so I didn't see it coming, and there's not much scrutiny to put on there.
Yeah.
Technically, because it's just like...
It's the same universe.
Yeah, it's connected. What else do you want? So I guess by our own metrics, you got to put it up there.
Say like a B? What do you think?
Yeah. B, because it's also not a twist. It's just part of the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, The Village. Something tells me you're going to have scrutiny. I think it's as far as a twist that you don't see coming, it's a pretty good twist. You got to admit.
Oh, yeah. I love don't get me wrong. I love the twist. I don't think anyone saw that coming. And I watched it recently with my in-laws, and they were like, what? Like, they didn't see it coming. They had a blast. I think it does. And here, towards the end, you got M. Night doing just Mr. Exposition at the end, where he's got to explain everything. That's where it kind of falls apart just a little bit. Because that guy's, getting the medicine. He's like, oh, one more thing. I got to explain real quick why helicopters planes don't fly over here,
Yeah, it was a real bad day for me when
real
people were getting suspicious. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, and they really like Walker, because they're on Walker Ranch or
land,
whatever.
Yeah, and nature preserve or something.
And they really show it like 2 or 3 times. You're like, yeah. We get it.
Yeah, I get it.
He's like, oh, yeah, no, and don't talk to people. Don't let them know, And I'm like, yeah, we get it,
Yeah. But you can't sit there and tell me, for the first time seeing this in the theater, you could not see that coming. Like, you just didn't. I think there was nearly any indication that was going to happen. If you did see it coming, tell us why. Tell us You're a liar. No, just kidding. Props on you, I guess. But yeah, didn't see it coming. And then I would put it as like an A or B in terms of twist, just because you do have to talk about it. You know, survives the scrutiny, but like barely over a minute type of thing. Mm-hmm. So good twist.
Yeah, I'd say I'd put it as A, right beneath. Oh yeah, that feels right. Above Split. Mm-hmm. The Visit. The twist for that is it wasn't the grandparents, right?
Correct.
That they killed like the grandparents.
I think it works pretty well.
Yeah, it's not super hard to figure out per se, but it's not like super easy, I guess. I mean, I feel like most people probably figured it out before they revealed it. So like,
because you definitely feel like, oh, these grandparents, there's something off about them. Yeah. They're real weird. But then you hear like, I can't remember if it was on like the radio or whatever. It's like, the insane asylum's pretty close.
Yeah,
you know. Yeah. So like you plant that seed, and you're like, okay.
Yeah.
So like, some people probably could have seen it coming. So I would probably put it as like a B. After Split, maybe?
That's fine.
Yeah.
Glass.
Also, wait, sorry, I have one qualm with that one. What kind of a mother just sends the kid off?
She really doesn't like her parents, I guess. And
yeah,
kind of messed up.
Yeah, anyway.
Now, Glass, the twist is that there are superheroes and the psychiatrist is like a part of some society? Am I remembering this right?
Yeah, there's like two twists, two and a half, kind of. Because like you said, the twist is that superheroes are real, I guess. But we already knew that from Unbreakable.
Yeah.
And then the stupidest one is that there's a secret society.
Yeah.
That's behind superheroes and keeping them under wraps and stuff. And I'm like, first of all, who would want that? Who's paying for this all? First of all, is it the government? Whatever, I don't care. Who's that interested in these like handful of people? If there was a secret society, they would use these people as their benefit, use them as weapons or whatever. We all know that. And also the twist that like, oh, superheroes are real. Nobody would care too. Like they're like, oh, we're going to show the world of James McAvoy flipping over a car and David Dunn, pushing whatever. And if you were to send me that clip on Twitter, I would just been like, I don't care. Yeah. Like what? Next. It's not funny. Like nobody cares. Next. Yeah. And it's just, I think it's one of his worst twists. Because,
I didn't like it.
Yeah. My main concern with it is like, where's the money coming from? Who's paying for this? And that's what really gets me going is just, someone's got to fund all this. Someone's got to rent the restaurant to put all those people in there, make all those reservations. I don't know, man. It just doesn't work out at all for me.
I say what, D? Giving it a D?
Yeah, if D's the lowest, then yeah.
Well, The Happening.
Ooh.
The twist. I don't even think there is a twist.
I guess the twist,
twist is they live.
The twist is they live, and it was the trees the whole time.
But that they kind of tell you.
Yeah, it's not really a twist. It's just part of the story. Yeah.
Like,
so it's not really
to me.
Where would you put that then? Where are you putting that?
I'm saying that's like an F. There's no, it's not really, because you think they're going to die and then they don't, but that whole movie's an F. How about Old?
What would have been Old? Ooh, this one's probably Glass tier. Worse than Glass. Because the twist in Old is that they are getting old on the beach, and it's all part of these pharmaceutical clinical trials that this big pharma is a part of, or whatever. And you didn't see it coming because it's so stupid. You're like, what's the resolve to this? Oh, that's the resolve? Okay, that's dumb. The twist is stupid. And then also there's a litany of questions that follow. One of which is like, A, who's paying for us? Where's the money? But also, who found this out? Like, how did you know that this was a thing? And it's just really stupid, in my opinion, too.
Yeah. I agree.
What do you got?
I think the same thing here. I'd put that as like a D behind Glass.
Yeah.
Last one, Knock at the Cabin.
Ooh. The twist was that the apocalypse was real, and that the dad saved everyone because he killed his husband. Again, it's not really a twist. It's just like that's the story.
Yeah, it's kind of like a happening situation. I'll throw that as F.
Because it's like, there's like two scenarios in that. Are these people crazy, or is the apocalypse real?
Yeah.
So one of them's got to be the answer. So I don't know. It's not really a twist in my opinion, but
yeah,
I don't know. What are your thoughts in the comments? Let me know.
Yeah.
How do you think about that list, Chris? That look like a good list to you?
That looks pretty good to me. I'd say, yeah, that's pretty good to me. I'm sure we'll have disagreements in the comments, which is totally welcome. Let us know. Yeah,
for definite. Well, I guess moving on, Chris, do you know what it's time for now?
Oh, I have a hint of an idea. Is it Unhinged?
It's time for Unhinged Reviews.
Oh, yes. Unhinged.
M. Night Shyamalan reviews. Special.
Uh-huh.
Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to read some Unhinged reviews, and Chris is going to guess the movie based on the Unhinged review. So let's get it going. You ready?
Oh, I'm born ready.
This one's 1 star from Matt Singer. Says, certainly one of the more unorthodox episodes of New Girl I've seen.
New Girl? Oh, it's The Happening.
It is The Happening, yeah.
Zooey Deschanel.
Zooey Desch. This one's from Adam Bolt, 4 stars. Says, this would have been a very suspenseful movie if not for the fact that my brother kept shouting, I'm the Joker, baby, whenever Joaquin Phoenix appeared on the screen.
I'm the Joker, baby. Suspenseful? It's obviously, we got Village or Signs. I'm going to say Village.
Ooh, it's actually Signs.
I'm the Joker. I'm going to say that now every time.
I'm the Joker, baby. Okay, this one is half star from Mariah Carey 69. It says, I'm literally Mariah Carey, and this was a completely unacceptable movie for me to watch. Scary as heck, freaked the crap out of me, and I hated it. Predictable, and the plot holes, ? Like, how the F did he not know for a year? He's just that unintegrated with society, ?
I think we're talking Sixth Sense here.
We are talking Sixth Sense. Good old Bruce, unintegrated with society, as he should be. That sounded rude. I feel bad.
Yeah, that's too soon, Steve.
Too soon, I'm sorry.
Yeah, not cool, man. He's about to die hard. Sorry,
don't do that, Bruce.
All right, sorry. I take that back.
This one is 4 stars from Kyle Amato. Says, the first movie about how all gay dads think that they're the center of the universe.
That's Knock at a Cab.
It is Knock at the Cab, yeah. This one is 3.5 stars from Ella Kemp. It says, no shitting friends, Joseph.
Visit?
Nope.
Are we talking After Earth?
No, it's Unbreakable.
Oh, that was the first one I was thinking.
You remember when that kid's like, I won't hesitate. Puts the gun on his chest.
That's right.
Yeah. This one is from Pablo.
That's pretty funny.
This one is from Pablo Honey, half star. Says, doesn't bother y'all that M. Night Shyamalan didn't serve any jail time for this crime he committed against humanity and pop culture?
It sounds like an Airbender fan.
It is an Airbender. Very heated discussion there, yeah. This one is from Ryan Daniel, 3 stars. This was a family favorite back in the day, so nostalgia was very much in play for me. That fact aside, this is actually much better than I was expecting. It's really charming, and I dug the atmosphere they had going. It felt like a Wes Anderson movie toned down to like 60%.
Ooh, Wes Anderson? I'm going to say Village.
Ooh, yeah, that's incorrect, Christopher.
Is it Lady in the Water?
No. And I have not been forthright with you because this movie is actually Stuart Little.
What?
And I will tell you why it's on this list. Because M. Night Shyamalan wrote the script to Stuart Little.
Really?
Did you know that?
No, I did not.
Well, now you know. Sorry, I had to pull a fast one on you there, but I
didn't know that was on the options here.
Yeah, that was a fun little Easter egg for you. Last one. This is from The Last Kelton, 1.5 stars. Imagine being the cop who has to go arrest a pharmaceutical company because they've been manipulating a magical beach to run drug trials. Like, what does that even look like, the paperwork?
I think that's old here.
That is old. He's got a point, though. Like, where to even start with that? Oh, man. That's all I got, Christopher.
Well,
I do have one that's...
Go ahead.
I probably won't add it to the video, but I just thought it was funny that I'll read it for you here. 1 star from Beat Riz. It says, the day is July 7th, 2019. I'm in a restaurant in Soho, New York. I'm peacefully waiting for my food until my father points out that Bruce Willis himself had just walked into the restaurant. Me, a big fan, fought the nervousism? Like nervous.
Yeah, sure.
Went up to Mr. Willis to ask for a picture as politely as I could. His answer was, you want a picture, right? Yeah, no, I'm not doing that today. I apologized and went back to my table, and as I shakily ate my food, a waiter came up to me where I was sitting with my family and said that Mr. Willis, quote, did not want to be disturbed and also asked to change tables. This is why, dear Letterboxd mutuals, I give bad ratings for every movie Bruce Willis has ever been in, no matter how much I actually like it.
I'm guessing 6 cents.
It was actually Unbreakable. But that's all I have, Chris. There was a lot of legitimate reviews for M. Night. Not very many funny ones. So if you're still listening to the show, thanks for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe and follow us on the YouTubes, the Twitters, the Instagrams, the hashtags, all the internets, and LinkedIn. Follow us on LinkedIn too.
Yes, can't forget the LinkedIn.
But that's all I got. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Popcorn.
This is the
Stale. Popcorn.
Popcorn?